Hello from Seoul? Do you like mandu, Korean dumplings? What about noodles? Dumplings? Good. Noodles? Nice. Then what if I combine those two? Yeah, sounds like a tasty wonderland, doesn't it? Alright, let me take you there. Today, we're gonna be making Manduguk, Korean knife-cut noodle soup with lots and lots of dumplings. Is that anything you don't love? No, I don't think so. And the great thing about this dish is it's super easy to make. So, buckle up! For this, you will need beef, knife-cut noodles, dumplings, garlic chives, green onions, garlic, and some chili peppers. But if you could also get these kinds of beef bone broth, it will taste like the one from Myeongdong that you might have seen in lots of Korea tour videos. So if that's something you've been missing so much, give this a try. You'll be surprised. What? You wanna know this kind of tip more and more? I'm so glad you brought that up because everything you need is in this one book. Trust me, with this one book, you can cook more than 100 Korean dishes like a pro, so don't forget to check it out. The link is in the description. Alright, let's start off with our vegetables. First, slice some green onions. As always, we're gonna use the white parts to make a broth and the greens for garnish. So make sure to separate the whites and greens. Next, grab a small handful of garlic chives and cut them into long strips. Actually, I brought these guys just to make it more pretty, which means it's totally optional. But as I always say, green makes your dish look fancy. So I hope you give this a try. What? You can't go to the supermarket just because of this? Then try it with our love, green onion. No problem at all. Maybe that could be more delicious. Once that's done, thinly slice some chili peppers. Again, these guys are optional too, but as you can see from the thumbnail, they add a nice pop of color and give it some extra kick, so I strongly recommend using them. And then finally chop a few cloves of garlic. Although we are making traditional Korean noodle soup, we don't need like 10 or 15 cloves of garlic today. Just 2 cloves of garlic will be enough. Even though I always say there's no such thing as too much garlic to Koreans, not this time. Not this time, my friend. Lastly, let's talk about beef. Here, I've got 200 grams of ground beef. But if you have some leftover beef from barbecue party, go ahead and use that. No problem at all. But keep in mind that some fatty parts will make your broth more flavorful. That's the key. Alright, everything is all set. Let's get cooking. In a wok or pot, add 1 tablespoon of oil and heat it over medium heat. Once it gets nice and hot, add the white parts of the green onion and make green onion oil for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Now increase the heat to high, add in our beef, and let that cook for about 1 to 2 minutes or until no longer pink. Here, make sure to break up the beef so that it doesn't clump together. And then add 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and give it about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Once your house smells wonderful and most of the fat has rendered down, turn the heat off. Now what you wanna do is take half of the beef from the wok and set that aside, because that's gonna be our topping. Now into the same wok, add 6 cups of water along with some garlic, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, 1 tablespoon of dashida, Korean beef stock powder, and bring it to a boil. Here, if you can get this Korean beef stock powder, you can also use chicken bouillon powder. No problem at all. So just use what you have. That's the best. And I think I've said this a zillion times, but still, some people say like, Aaron, I don't like fish sauce because that's too fishy. If you say it like that, I'm 100% sure you never used it before. Because if you use it properly, you will only be left full of umami. That's right, it's like natural MSG. So stop worrying and give it a try. You won't regret it. Last but not least, if you want to get that restaurant taste, add a pinch of MSG. But totally optional, because we already put that natural MSG in there. Now once it comes to a boil, throw in 8 dumplings, cover and let them cook for about 5 minutes. For information, it's totally okay to use frozen dumplings straight from the package. Just make sure you give them enough time to cook through. And while that's going, cook your kalguksu noodles according to the package instructions. What? You can't get these Korean knife cut noodles? Don't worry about it. You can use whatever you have. Just because you use other types of noodles, the world is not gonna be destroyed. So just use what you have. That's the best. When the noodles are done, take them out and shake off the excess water because any excess water can dilute our soup. Last but not least, bring a spoon and give it a little taste and add more salt if it's needed. That's it. Couldn't be any easier, right? Alright, time to assemble. Let's put some noodles into a bowl and gently add some broth over the noodles. And then top it off with some dumplings, garlic chives, beef, green onions, chili peppers, and a little bit of black pepper. That's it. How does it look? It looks absolutely amazing, right? Alright, let's go to our taste tester. Claire?
Wow, who'd think this is made of frozen dumplings? Looks super fancy. Can't wait! This is so pretty, so I don't want to disturb, but maybe I have to, right? 오, 고기 토핑에 누들에 맛있는 건 다 들어있네. 국물을 먼저 먹어봐야 될 것 같아. 이게 평상시 내가 보던 칼국수 면이 딱 들어갔었을 때 그 텍스처가 아니거든. 좀 그거에 비해서는 덜 끈적끈적거리고 맑아 보여. Ready? 오, 진한 고기의 향이 샥 느껴지고 칼국수 면이 들어갔었을 때 그 특유의 걸쭉한 느낌은 없는데 그렇다고 맛이 빈 게 아니라 되게 깊은 소고기 향이 나. 맛있네. 약간 떡국 먹는 것 같은 그런 느낌도 있어. Salty and beefy, so good. 요즘 오늘은 좀 센스가 있었네. 김치 먹자마자 김치를 바로 부르네. 이거지. 부드럽고 소고기에서 나오는 그런 기름들이 코팅되어 있어. 되게 맛있어 근데. 간도 잘 뱄고 맛있어. This time, let's try the dumpling. This bad boy. Let's break it in half. I love this curve. 속이 얼마나 꽉 찼나 확인해봤어. Ready? You can't go wrong with this. It's every time I have dumpling, it's so good. 그리고 원래 시중에 있는 만두로 했었을 때 자칫 잘못하면 국물이 좀 짜질 수 있거든. 근데 오늘은 되게 밸런스가 잘 맞네. 되게 맛있어. 부추는 큰 역할을 하는 것 같진 않은데 없으면 좀 서운할 것 같긴 해. 그러니까 이렇게 먹으면서 이렇게 눈을 행복하게 해주는 그런 매력이 있네. 그 정도? There's nothing to complain about because he served kimchi. So good! 맛있다 만두. 난 만두는 맨날 먹을 수 있어. 너무 맛있잖아.
Hello from Seoul. There are so many great food combos. Bacon and egg, burger and fries, spaghetti and meatball. But today, you will see one of the best combinations in Korean cuisine. Alright, are you guys ready? Let's get started. Today, we're gonna be making Sundubu Jjigae, soft tofu stew. It really works great with almost any kind of ingredients, but personally, I think kimchi works the best with this bad boy. Trust me, if you try this, you won't be able to find any kimchi in your fridge. Yes, it's that delicious. For this, you will need some pork, kimchi, soft tofu, green onion, garlic, and some chilies for garnish. What? Something is missing? That's right, we need to drop an egg into the boiling stew, so make sure to get yourself some eggs too. First, cut 200 grams of pork into nice bite-sized pieces. I'm using pork belly here, but you could also use pork leg, pork shoulder, or whatever you have in your fridge. So just use what you have. That's the best. But make sure it's got enough fat in it because we want plenty of fat to melt into the broth. And that is the restaurant secret. Next, cut 1 cup or 200 grams of kimchi into nice bite-sized pieces. Here, we gotta use well-fermented kimchi because it should be nice and sour, just like when you make kimchi stew. If you just make with freshly made kimchi, we can't call it kimchi soft tofu stew. That'll be more like a cabbage soft tofu stew. That doesn't sound too bad, but well-fermented kimchi is the key to this recipe. And then thinly slice some green onions. Like I always say, you'll be like the more, the better, because when the fat meets this bad boy, they create amazing fragrance and flavor. So remember, more green onion, more delicious. Once that's done, smash 3 cloves of garlic and finely chop them. That's it, so simple, right? Alright, before we start cooking, let's make the seasoning paste. In a small container, add 3 tablespoons of gochugaru, Korean chili pepper flakes, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, half a teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of dashida, Korean beef stock powder, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and give it a good mix. Here, some of you might say, Aaron, I don't like fish sauce. That's too fishy. Listen, do you know how much fish sauce is used in your favorite kimchi? Ho ho. You can't even imagine it. But you just felt it's refreshing and full of umami, right? The same thing will happen in here, so don't worry about it. This will make your Sundubu Jjigae so much more flavorful. Alright, everything is all set. Let's get cooking. In a wok or pot, add 2.5 tablespoons of oil, pork belly, and place it over medium-high heat. And then let it cook for about 5 minutes. Of course, we could wait until the wok is heated, but this way, we can prevent oil splatter. It's not pork stir fry. Our goal here is just to render out the fat, so don't worry about it. And here, some of you might say, Aaron, it looks like too much oil. Can I reduce it? Yes, you can, but it's not gonna be tasty. Soft tofu stew has to have that beautiful chili oil on top. That's gonna give us that iconic spicy flavor that we're looking for. So stop worrying and follow my lead. Once most of the fat has rendered out and the pork is nicely browned on both sides, throw in your green onions, garlic, and stir them around for about 1 to 2 minutes. We're not done yet, but since it smells wonderful, everyone in your house will notice that you're cooking something delicious. When the garlic and green onions start to pick up some color, add 2 tablespoons of soju and stir them around for about 1 minute. It's gonna give us the pleasant savoriness and umami. What? You can't get this? Then use some sake or adding a little bit of water will help. But beer or red wine is your call, but I'm not responsible for that. Alright, reduce the heat to medium, add our chopped kimchi, the seasoning paste, and saute for about 4 to 5 minutes. Make sure you give it a good stir so it doesn't burn on the bottom. If the chili pepper flakes burn, you have to start it over again, so please be careful. Alright, when the kimchi is wilted down, add 3 cups of rice water and bring it to a boil. For information, in Korean cuisine, soup or stew is not an appetizer, it's more like a main dish. So we always eat it with steamed rice. So when cooking your rice, make sure to save the cloudy starch water called 쌀뜨물. Of course, you could just use plain water, but the starch from the rice water will make the soup more thickened and delicious. Once you can see some bubbles in the middle, reduce the heat to medium-high and simmer for 5 more minutes. When time's up, bring your spoon and give it a quick taste. It can be too sour or too salty depending on your kimchi. So if it's too sour, add a pinch of sugar. It's gonna balance out the sourness. And if it's not too salty, just perfect to your taste buds, that's not right. It has to be a little bit salty. Soft tofu contains a lot of moisture, so when it goes into the stew, it's gonna dilute our soup. So we have to make it a little bit salty. So let's add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Alright, let's add 2 tubes or 700 grams of soft tofu. Using a spoon, break them into nice big chunks. And then just continue to boil for about 3 minutes. Alright, we're almost there. Of course, you could just serve it in a bowl. But if you want more authentic vibes, bring this kind of dukbaegi and carefully add it in. Trust me, this will make you feel like you're in a Korean restaurant. And then top it up with some sliced chilies, green onions, and some eggs. Now all we have left is just bring it to a boil and wait until it's piping hot. That's it. So simple, right? But the taste is not gonna be simple. Alright, let's call our taste tester.
Claire? Tofu and kimchi? My favorite 2 guys in one pot. I can't wait to try. Let's dig in. Woo! Look at the chili oil. Looks insane, right? 와, 진짜 맛있어 보인다. 거기에 소리까지. See, it's beautiful. 뜨거우니까 조심조심. Cheers. Make sure it doesn't burn your tongue. 와, 진하네. 순두부랑 같이 먹으면 진짜 맛있겠다. 와, 가볼까요? 너무 좋은데 비주얼이. 흰 쌀밥 위에 대조되게 탁 놔두고서 먹으면 얼마나 만족스럽다고. Cheers. 그냥 내 얼굴 표정이 다 나오지 않아? 너무 맛있는데? 그냥 입에 들어가는 순간 순두부가 그냥 샥 녹으면서 그 맛있는 국물과 함께 입에 싹 퍼진단 말이야. 말할 것도 없어. 그냥 너무 맛있어. 그리고 이거 진짜 김치 넣은 거 진짜 신의 한 수다. 나는 사실 순두부찌개 할 때 김치 넣은 건 잘 많이 안 먹어봤거든? 너무 맛있는데? 너무 뻔한 얘기긴 한데 정말 김치찌개의 맛도 느껴지고 순두부찌개의 맛도 딱 느껴져. 정말로 김치찌개 먹을지 순두부찌개 먹을지 결정장애 올 때 딱이네. 완전 괜찮다. 김치의 새콤함도 제대로 느낄 수 있고 순두부찌개에서 오는 그 부드러운 식감 그것도 온전히 즐길 수 있는 것 같아. 속에 있는 김치와 돼지고기를 가져와 보겠다. This is what I'm talking about. It's gonna be super hot. Be careful. 국물도 한 번 더 끼얹고. It's a huge bite. Cheers! 와, told you, super hot, but super delicious. 엄청 뜨거운데 이 맛이 찌개 없는 거야. 정말 맛있어. 와. 밥 한 그릇이 뭐야? 한 두세 그릇 먹을 수 있겠다. 진짜 이 정도로 건더기 팍팍 넣어가지고 먹으면 끝도 없이 먹을 수 있을 것 같아. 매콤하고 새콤하고 칼칼하고 정말 그냥 막 스트레스 풀리는 그런 느낌? 그러면서도 컴포트한 푸드의 느낌이 제대로 느껴진다. 나 너무 흥분했다. 오랜만에 이런 거 먹어가지고. 아무튼 맛있다. 땀이 막 나는데 엄청 맛있어. 순두부가 주인공인 것 같지만 뭐니 해도 이 계란이 빠지면 순두부찌개가 아닙니다. 터트려서 creamy. Creamy and soft. Just delicious. 맛있어. Definitely worth a try, even if you burn your tongue. Just like any other soup or stew, it's gonna taste way better the next day. So if you hesitate to make this because it looks too much for you, don't worry about it. Just make it and save for tomorrow. It's gonna be more fantastic. Trust me.
Hello from Seoul? Yeah, soup season is back. And I know your body wants some nice and comforting noodle soup, but it's not easy to cook it, especially on a busy weeknight, right? But don't worry about it. With me, all you need is only 15 minutes. Alright, are you guys ready? Let's get started. Today, we're gonna be making Niku Udon, a classic Japanese beef noodle soup. Since it's so simple and easy, as long as you've got some basic ingredients, you can make it in under 15 minutes. So don't be afraid and give this a try. If you do, you will taste one of the best noodle soups in your life. For this, you will need beef, onion, green onion, ginger, and some udon noodles. What? You can't believe that's all we need? Yeah, I know it's hard to believe, but true story. So there's no reason not to try this, right? What? You secretly bought some stock but it's stinking? And your wife has no idea what's going on? Then get yourself this Japanese fish cake and a soft boiled egg. Trust me, these beautiful things will save your ass. But don't get me wrong, it's not my story. Alright, let's start off with our vegetables. First, thinly slice half an onion. If it's too thick, it's gonna take a while to cook, and it can make your wife more angry. Again, if your portfolio is thinking right now, you gotta make it as quickly as you can and make them full and happy. That's the only way to save your life. Otherwise, you will see a disaster. Next, chop some green onions. This kind of soup really applies to the rule more green onion, more delicious. So be super generous with this. Plus, it's gonna add a nice pop of color, so she'll be so happy about it. Once that's done, grab a small knob of ginger and grate it. About half a teaspoon would be enough. By the way, we have all the instructions and a list of ingredients on our blog, aaronandclaire.com, so please visit here if you need a written recipe. This time, cut 300 grams of beef into nice bite-sized pieces. To get the best result, I strongly recommend getting this kind of thinly sliced beef from an Asian market because it doesn't take much time to allow the flavor in and it cooks a lot faster. Now let's make the sauce for our beef. In a small container, add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of mirin, half a teaspoon of ginger, and give it a good mix. Couldn't be any easier, right? This time, let's make a dashi broth. In a pot, add 4 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of mirin, 1.5 teaspoons of hondashi, and give it a good mix. What? You still can't believe that we can make it in under 15 minutes? Don't worry about it. This bad boy will add an amazing umami and dramatically reduce the cooking time, like a miracle. Of course, you could also make dashi from scratch using these bonito flakes and dried kelp, but it'll take hours, 15 minutes or 2 hours. It's your choice. Now place your pot on the stove and bring it to a boil. Once it starts boiling and bubbling, turn the heat off and give it a little taste, and add more salt if it's needed, but mine is perfect. For information, if you boil it for too long, the beautiful aroma of the soy sauce will just fly away. So make sure you turn it off and just keep it warm. This time, get yourself a pan, add 1 tablespoon of oil and place it over medium-high heat. Once it gets nice and hot, add in your beef, onion, and stir fry them for about 2 minutes or until the beef is no longer pink. After that, let's pour in our sauce and let it cook together for about 2 to 3 minutes. When the beef is cooked through, turn the heat off and set it aside. Meanwhile, cook your udon noodles according to the package instructions. And once they are cooked through, take them out and shake off the excess water. But do not throw away the water yet, because this is where you can show off your cooking skill. Ladle some water out into your bowl and just wait for a little bit. This way, you can serve your food nice and hot and it will stay hot until it's finished. So do this kind of stuff in front of your wife, then she may forgive you. Good luck! Now pour the water out and place your noodles into the bowl and gently add some broth over the noodles. Last but not least, top it off with some beef, fish cake, soft boiled egg, and a generous amount of green onion. That's it. It's really simple, right? Alright, let's call our taste tester. Claire?
Wow! So beautiful! So this is Niku Udon. Honestly, I've never tried it, but I love any kind of udon. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna be awesome. Let's give it a try. 아니 근데 먹기 전에 일단 이 하나하나의 요소가 너무 예쁜 거 아니야? 오 마이 갓. 일단 국물이 맑아서 면의 텍스처가 막 다 보이는 게 너무 예쁘고 soft boiled egg 완벽하게 잘 됐네. 그리고 고기에도 윤기가 샤라라라라라 나고 마지막으로 요거 예쁜 거 요거 이름 까먹었는데 너무 예쁘다. I love it. Let's try. Let's try the soup first. By the way, Aaron got this spoon for noodle soup. Can't wait. 와우. 딱 우동의 향이다. 내가 아는 우동의 향이야. 오케이. 제대로 됐는데? 맑으면서 깊은 가스오부시의 향이 샥 느껴지는 게 so fragrant. 이렇게 일본 음식 먹을 때마다 느껴지는 그 특유의 가스오부시 향, 다시의 향이 너무너무 좋아. I love it. I just love it. 맛있다. 몸이 샤르륵 녹는 느낌인데? 고기에도 양념이 되어 있어서 그 양념이 국물에 배이면 훨씬 더 맛있어지겠다. 고고고! 맛있네. 아까 그 맑은 국물로만 먹었었을 때는 안 느껴졌던 소고기 향이 샥 입에 들어오는 게 맛있다. 그리고 여전히 면은 탱글탱글 너무 맛있고 고기는 입에서 샥 그냥 녹는다. 아, 그리고 나 이거 꼭 먹어봐야 돼. And I can't miss this Naruto maki. It's so cute, right? 없으면 서운하다고. 확실히 우동 국물이랑 너무 잘 어울린다. 너무 탱글탱글해가지고 얘가 막 살아서 움직여. again. 맛으로만 마셨을 때는 이게 15분 컷인지 1시간 컷인지 10시간 컷인지 전혀 모를 것 같아. 너무 맛있어. 괜찮다. 이거 자주 해먹을 것 같다. 저거나 어디다가. 이거 앞으로 자주 해줘. So good. Strongly recommend this. 달아. It tastes much better with lots and lots of green onions. So if you're a big fan of green onions, put as much as you want. It'll be way more delicious. Trust me.
Look from Seoul, it's getting chilly outside, so you must be craving some soup. But you don't want to spend too much time on that. Did I read your mind? But don't worry about it. For the comforting, flavorful, and warm bowl of soup, all you need is just 15 minutes. Today, we're gonna be making Chinese tomato egg drop soup, one of the simplest but the most delicious soups in the world. As you guys already know, tomatoes and eggs are a match made in heaven, so it's no surprise that many countries and cultures use this combo in their dishes. And among those, I think this tomato egg drop soup is outstanding because it's so quick, easy, and absolutely delicious. Trust me, once you try it, you'll find yourself making this dish every day. For this, you will need some tomatoes, garlic, green onions, and eggs. That's it. Since it's so simple and easy, you'll be able to have this nice comforting soup on a busy morning, even if you have a job interview on that day. Alright, let's start with the tomatoes. Get yourself 2 medium-sized tomatoes, take out the core, and just cut them into small bite-sized pieces. If you prefer a more smooth texture, you can peel the skin off. But I'm gonna use these as is, because the skin is rich in fiber and nutrients. What? You don't like the one with the skin? Then, using a knife, make a little X on the bottom and blanch them in boiling water for about 30 seconds. And then shock them in some ice water. Once they are cool, the skins will come off super easily. Pretty good tip, right? Next, smash 1 garlic clove and finely chop it. Once that's done, thinly slice 2 green onions. As always, we're gonna use the white parts to infuse our oil and save the green parts for garnish. So please keep them separate, like this. And just so you know, if you have cilantro, you can also use it for garnish. And that's gonna be awesome too. But I don't want my hungry bird to get angry, so I'm just gonna stick with these bad boys. By the way, we have all the instructions and a list of ingredients on our blog, aaronandclaire.com, so please visit here if you need a written recipe. Now, crack 2 eggs into a small container, add a pinch of salt and beat them up really well. And lastly, let's make a quick cornstarch slurry with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water. That's it! Super simple, right? Alright, we're set. Let's get cooking. In a wok or pot, add 2 tablespoons of oil and heat it over medium-high heat. Once it gets nice and hot, add the garlic, green onions, and saute those for about 30 seconds. Here, if you wanna make it even better, you can try adding a little bit of ginger. That's gonna be awesome too. Alright, once your kitchen is filled with the aroma, add half a tablespoon of soy sauce and give it a few stir for about 20 seconds. Yes, we could just add the tomatoes first before the soy sauce, but pouring the soy sauce directly into the hot oil like this will make a huge difference in taste. This is like the secret of my tomato egg drop soup, so please give this a try. But be careful when you're doing this, because there might be some oil splatter. What? You wanna know this kind of tip more and more? I'm so glad you brought that up, because everything you need is in this one book. Trust me, with this one book, you can cook more than 100 Korean dishes like a pro, so don't forget to check it out. The link is in the description. Now, let's add the tomatoes and stir fry them for about 2 minutes. Once the tomatoes release their juices and they start bubbling like this, add 3.5 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon powder, and 1.5 tablespoons of ketchup. Now we're just gonna bring it to a boil and simmer for about 3 more minutes. Here, some of you might be wondering why there's ketchup in it. And I totally get it. But to bring out the best flavor, restaurants experiment with all sort of crazy things. And ketchup is one of those sacred weapons. Trust me, once you try it, you will understand it really boosts up the flavor with a minimum of effort. Alright, it's been about 3 minutes. Let's give it a quick taste and add some salt and pepper to taste. Once it tastes perfect to you, give it about 2 more minutes. Now, to thicken up the soup, let's add the cornstarch slurry and give it a good mix. But don't forget to give it a quick stir before you add it in. Alright, let's reduce the heat to medium. And then slowly pour in the egg mixture. If you cover it with chopsticks or a fork like this, you'll be able to pour the eggs in a thin stream, so they'll be more beautiful and lacy in your soup. Now, let's turn the heat off and gently stir it around with your ladle. Once that's done, add some green onions, half a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, and give it a final mix. Alright, it's ready to go. Let's get that out into a bowl and see how it tastes.
Claire,
Yay! Soup season is back! And tomato egg drop soup sounds like a perfect dish for that, right? Let's give it a try! 중간중간에 파랑 계란이랑 토마토랑 이 색깔의 조화가 너무너무 예쁘다. 내가 좋아하는 그 신우동 색깔 조합이에요. 너무 예쁘다. 이것도 뜨거울 수 있으니까 조심조심 호호 불면서 먹어야겠어. 콘스타치 들어간 애들은 상상 외로 훨씬 뜨거워. Cheers! 역시 또 몸이 쌀을 녹는구만. 아, 맛있다. 한 사발 드릴기만 안 되나? 일단 국물이 뜨끈하니 약간 짭조름하면서 토마토에서 오는 약간의 그 새콤함이 싹 녹아 있어가지고 여름 동안 잃어버렸던 나의 입맛이 싹 돌아오는 느낌이야. 거기에 계란이 그냥 진짜 실키하게, 정말 계란이 있는지도 잘 몰라. 있는지도 잘 모를 정도로 정말 부들부들한 계란이 쏙 같이 국물과 함께 샥 들어오는데, 중간중간에 있는 토마토가 청키하잖아. 약간 큼직큼직한 녀석들이 입에서 씹을 때 즙이 촥촥 더 폭발하면서, 거기다 이 그린 어니언 쪽파는 진짜 신의 한 수다. 약간 단조로울 수 있는 그 맛에, 왜 그 알싸한 파의 맛이 촥촥 아주 중독적으로 만들어주는 그런 맛이라고 보면 될 것 같아. 결론, whether you make a tomato and egg stir fry or you make a tomato egg drop soup, I think tomato and eggs, they are fantastic duo. So why don't you give this a try? I think you're gonna love it too. Enjoy! 내가 토마토 만능론자로서 말하는데, 내가 지금 또 이 병이 났거든 입에. 이거 한 그릇 다 먹으면 다 해결될 것 같아.